She's one of my students. Yeah, y'all were too loud. And these walls are thin. I don't know. Because y'all too loud.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Get your notes out and write this question down. This is now today's class that I'm going to teach y'all on is on the videos from Tuesday. I did teach it Tuesday. I just didn't teach it in this class because I wasn't here. But this is what we started with, and we're going to go over z-scores first because z-scores is easier compared to the box plots. Some people, it's hard to get the box plots to register for some reason. I don't know. So write this down, and we'll get started. And you don't have to write it word for word, but just write the important information. LBJ, 75 inches. Shack, 85 inches. Presidents have a mean of 71.5 and a standard deviation of 2.1. Basketball players have a height of 80 and a standard deviation of 3.3. Yeah, I'll make it bigger for the people that sit on the back row. I just told you what to write. The numbers. I know. It's the elevator's fault. I can't work this. These black remotes suck. What? What did you say? Black remotes. The black remotes are hard to work. The white remotes, which go with those things, they're easier because they have but you have to hit 2 or 3 buttons. Oh, y'all taking all that. Just be quiet. You're supposed to hit there we go. No. I'm trying, people. I'm trying. There. There we go. Yeah, now I got it. I thought I did. Now I got it. Dadgum, look at this pen. What happened to it? Now, most of you have had Z-scores if you've had Math 120 before, which is probability and statistics in high school or in college or whatever. I went to a peer evaluation Monday where I have to evaluate a part-time faculty member, and she was teaching over at Westside. Y'all are lucky. She was going 90 miles an hour. And buddy, she's already in Unit 2, but we're fixing to get into Unit 2. She just had started it. She covered like 3 sections in one class. So, I don't have no idea why I'm talking about that. Anyway, yeah, just come on in whenever. I've been here since 8 o'clock. I'm glad to see you back, Mr. Frazier.
Glad you're back.
I was worried about you. I asked about you. I said, "Where's Mr. Frazier?" And they said you were doing drugs or something. That's what they said.
Why are you telling my business? No, I had some morning shifts at Target.
You have what? You work at Target? Where you work?
I do everything.
You're a stock boy. Okay.
I do that sometimes too, but no, I do carts and cashier and stuff.
I go over there all the time. I've never seen you. I guess I just missed you.
Maybe I'll be in the back whenever you come.
Yeah, that's probably you unloading the truck. I used to do that at Walmart. Back when Walmart was Walmart, not ghetto city now. Back in the day when I was graduating high school, Walmart was the thing here in Anderson because there was 2 of them. That 644 down here and 396 up there, and I was at 396. And no, that's LA. That's 644. I was the one. It was beside the mall. Now it moved up. It moved up to Liberty Highway. LA, Lower Anderson. Where when a new business opens up, like Waffle House, it has to get initiated into Lower Anderson by getting robbed. Yeah. Got bullet holes there's bullet holes in the doorway. That one's a good one. The one that everybody fussed about going up there because they didn't want a Waffle House on the north side. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. See, you know why? This is why I hate. Okay. The formula for Z-score is X minus X bar over standard deviation. So Z-score is equal to X minus X bar over standard deviation. Now, why are we even answering this? Why are we even asking this question? We all know that Shaq is taller than LBJ. Huh? Why are we asking? Why? Relatively. What does relatively mean? Not overall.
Relatively, like,
compared to their own population. In other words, taking the 2 populations in effect, what are the 2 populations? Okay. What are the qualifications to be a basketball player? In other words, what are the documented NBA requirements to be a basketball player?
1 year college.
No, I'm talking about documented. Play good, that's a judgment. I don't know what the documented requirements are. I assume you have to have some requirements, but I don't know what they are. I guess somebody might have to look them up. But like you said, what did you say?
I said football, you got me at 8
Oh yeah, that's true. We already talked about that. Don't get that started. All right.
You said a year of college.
Year of college. So that might be a requirement. I don't know. I don't know what the requirements are. But being tall is not a requirement. I mean, Spud Webb was 5'2", and he could dunk it.
Yeah, it's like
There's been many, not many, but a lot of players in the NBA that were 5'6", 6 foot, and could play. All right, they played. I don't know if they played a lot. They played. Spud Webb played a lot. Spud Webb was back in the '80s. Like I said, he was 5'2", but he could dunk it. And he made all kind of waves because he was so short. And I'm sorry, vertically challenged. So, what are the requirements? Being tall is not a requirement, but it's a what? Advantage. So, when somebody is tall, let's say you're in the 6th grade and you're 5'9" or 6'2", what does the coaches say to you? Huh? Okay, it's a natural selection that if you're tall and in decent shape, then the coach, 6th or 7th grade, comes to you and says, hey, why don't you go out and play basketball team? And then that's where it starts. Or it starts in the neighborhood playing basketball and the love of basketball and just keeps on going from there. Now, my point is, what are the qualifications for being president? Got to be old.
No, it's a certain age.
35. What's the other one? Oh, yeah. Natural U.S. citizen. No comment. Natural born U.S. citizen and 35 years old. There's no height requirement for being president. But is there advantage? Is there an advantage to being a tall president? No, there's not. There's not an advantage. Okay, so, and what was FDR? He was in what? He was in a wheelchair, so his physical height was, I don't know, 4 foot, somewhere around there? I don't know. But no, I'm talking about in a wheelchair. His physical height was about this tall, but his natural height was probably normal. Now, my question is this. If LBJ was the tallest in the century when this question was made, I don't know, about 4 years ago, I always use this question. Is he the big fish in a little pond or little fish in a big pond? He's the big fish in the little pond. What is Shaq? He's the little fish in a big pond. Now, Shaq is not little, okay? But why is he a little fish in a big pond? Because all basketball players pretty much are what? Tall. They're pretty tall. I'm not talking about 6 foot tall. I'm talking about 6'5", 6'8", 7 foot, that type. So, Shaq, how tall is Shaq? I know he's 85 inches, but what is that? 85 divided by 12. What is that? Calculate. What is it? I thought he was 7.
7.0.
Huh?
7.0, I mean.
So he's 7 foot tall. Ooh. All right, now let's talk. How do you compare the two? Well, you put them on the same scale. Well, you can't put them on the same scale because Shaq would be taller. So you have to convert them to a universal scale, which is a Z scale. All right. So the first one is LBJ. And LBJ is 75 inches minus what? 71.5 over 2.1. And calculate that. What does that come out to? I'm sorry, what? 1.7?
What, yeah.
1.7. Shack is going to be 85 minus 80 over 3.3. And what does that come out to be? 1.5. So who is relatively taller? LBJ. That is saying that if you take the two populations into consideration, LBJ is taller because of his population than Shaq is to his population. Because Shaq is a little fish in a big pond, and LBJ is a little fish, big fish in a little pond. Now, always remember, the further you are from zero, the more unusual you are. Let's look at the scale. On page, I don't know what page it's on. I want to say 112. Somebody look on 112 if anybody got a book. There is a scale on the bottom of the page, and it talks about z-scores. It's a shaded arrow, both ends. So somebody tell me if that's on 112 or not. It's a shaded arrow on the bottom. Yeah, it was on the bottom. Oh, that's a different book. Yeah, that's it. But I need a new book. Is it 112? 113. Bottom of 113. You have the scale of z-scores. And it goes along with the standard deviations. Don't forget your empirical rule on page 103. Or 104, I can't remember. The empirical rule states that 95% of the population falls within what? 2 standard deviations. So 95% is going to fall between 2 standard deviations. Same thing with this area right in here. 95% is going to fall between -2 and what? +2. Anything outside of 2 and -2 is considered what? Unusual. Anything outside of 3 and -3 as a z-score is considered a 6-split second grader. A what? Outlier. The further you are from zero, the more what you are? Unusual, unique. All right? So who was further away? Well, Shaq was 1.5. So that's getting toward 2. So that's kind of unusual. But not as much as LBJ, who was what? 1.7, who was more unusual. So that's how you compare apples to oranges. You compare them with the z-score. Presidents, height of presidents versus height of basketball players. 2 different populations, but you're comparing them on the same scale. And that's what a z-score does. The z-scale is for comparing 2 different populations. Now, you should be able to knock any z-score question out at this level. We're going to go back to z-scores in Chapter 6. All right? It's going to be more in-depth with z-scores, but this is kind of an introductory, and it's also the main definition of z-scores. Question? Anybody had z-scores before and didn't understand them? They're pretty simple. Nobody's going to raise their hand, huh? It's what? Are you serious? Have you had 120 before? She's being supportive of you since you have never heard of z-scores before. What section is, are we on 5 point? I think I'm in the wrong section. Okay, listen up. What section are we in? 3 point. Okay, that's what. Because I've got 6 classes that I'm teaching and I get them mixed up sometimes. Yeah, that's where they start. They start in Chapter 5. All right, so now let's talk about box plots. Here is a list of, go ahead and write this list of numbers down. I'll blow it up for you if I can get it to the center and everything. There you go. They're already in order. Unless you from the Middle East, Masalama. Read from left to right.
I like reading in rows.
See. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Sorry. 16, 19, 21, 24, 25, and so on. Huh? Do what you want to. I would say write it, but because I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. Because you need to understand what the box plot is. Just like the other day, I asked somebody. I teach another class, and I have a person in there that is not a know-it-all, but is knowledgeable, and she likes to say, I took this, and I took this, and I took this, and I took this. So I said, okay, well, we're fixing to go over something that is in this class that she talks about. And I said, I want you to give me the definition. And I put it on the board, and I asked for the definition, hoping she would say something. Well, all she did was give me the formula. she could not tell me what the definition was. She could not tell me what she was doing. All she could tell me was the formula. To a teacher, that's called regurgitation. And regurgitation is not good because you're not learning anything. You're just learning the formula. Learn the definition. Learn how it's worked. Then worry about, the formula. That's the difference between learning and regurgitation. Now, while you're still writing that, I'm going to go ahead and put it in a spreadsheet so I won't have to write all over the board. I'll freeze it while y'all are still writing. How many's up there? 36? Okay, there's my numbers. I'll go ahead and mark this one while y'all are still writing. Mark that one yellow. 36, half of 36 is 18. Yeah, so that'd be, or 16 would be 8. So then I'll pick 9 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then these two right here. And that one, I'll paint that one for day. Okay, look on the board and you'll see that I have put these in a spreadsheet and I have listed them in order just like they are on the board. Now, if you'll notice, I have shaded certain numbers. What have I shaded? I've shaded the min and the max, and then I've shaded 3 other areas. And those areas are the min and the max, which is 16, and max is down there. And then I've shaded this area, and a third area. And this is what we call the 5-number summary. Five-number summary is what sets up the box plot. Okay, 5-number summary. And it contains the min, the max, and then these 3 things right here are called the first quartile or 50th percentile. That's the first one. It's called 2 different things. First quartile or 50th percentile. The second one is called the second quartile or, I'm sorry, that was 25th. I'm sorry, 25th right here. Yes, thank you. And 50th here. This one is also called the median. The third one is called the third quartile. Huh? What's that word I keep on what? Third quartile, second quartile, first quartile. I'm going to explain that in a minute. If you'll let me be in charge for a minute. Hey, come. You want to teach class? 75th percentile. And last is the max. Max. The biggest number.
Can you wait to start talking until I finish talking?
She's scared.
She's got a picture of Marilyn Monroe. I mean, can't go wrong with Marilyn Monroe.
You can.
You can. I know, Lord.
You can.
No, you can't.
I love Marilyn.
I love you.
And that's okay.
Do y'all all go to the same school? Have mercy.
I
Bless
was,
you.
I used to.
He got kicked out.
But I didn't get kicked out. My mom pulled me because I was going to get kicked out.
So do y'all go to West Side or
I go
Hannah?
to West Side. I go to West Side now.
He go to Rizzo.
My daughter goes to West Side.
Don't tell me.
Hide the wife.
What?
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your husband.
Y'all are mean, man. Y'all are really mean.
Hey, come. Mr. Frazier, you want to sit over here?
I don't know what y'all are.
Roger took
With
it.
friends like that, I don't think you need any enemies.
I ain't not even.
You don't have to deal with elderly with every other day.
All right. Now, what are the quartiles? Well, remember the handy-dandy curve right here. What is the line right here? We know it's the mean, but what is that? It's the middle, right? It's the center. Remember when the 5.3 talks about centering or center, point of center? That the center, whether it's the median or whether it's the mean, depending on what application you're using, as I told you with test averages, when you get your test back, one of the first things you want to know in college is, what is the class what? You want to know where you fit in with everybody else, because the center is important. And the center is important whether it's the median or whether it's the mean. Okay? Now, the closer these two are together, the more tight your data is, whatever. All right? But the center represents what? 50%. The center represents the middle. Now, I like to tell students to think of quartiles as a gas tank. Think of this as a gas tank. And we read which way? Left to right. That's the llama. Left to right. So, with this being empty, because there's only 5% of gas in the tank here and here, we're going to think this is empty and this is full. What is this? Quarter of a tank. So this is your first what? There you go. Now the first quartile also represents the 25th what? Percentile. So if you're in a population of 30 people and you're doing ages, the first set of ages is going to be, the lowest set of ages is going to be the first quartile. Yes, ma'am. I didn't hear you. Well, it's technically from here down here, because this is technically 0 down here. But we don't usually worry about this because it's 0.025. And this is 0.025. I'm showing you what quartiles are. It's not necessarily the -1 is not, or the -1 standard deviation is not the 25th percentile. The 25th percentile is usually going to fall, somewhere. This is 16%, I think. Y'all look on your, what is somebody look on 103, the empirical rule. This is 32 and 32, I think. What is this right here? Somebody look on that rule. I forget them. I think 34 and 34, and then 2.5 and 2.5, 16%. Somebody got it? 103 or 104? Where's 104? I can't tell you. Yeah, there it is. Okay, 14%. I'm sorry. Say this is 14%, 2.5, 14%. Is this 34 on there? 34, 34, 14, and 2.5. So somewhere, 14 and 2.5, that's 16. Somewhere in here is your 25th percentile. You see what I'm saying? Somewhere in here. I'm just showing you, I use these marks to show you, to read the tank. So right in here, technically, somewhere in here is your 25th percentile. Now this is your 50th percentile because it's halfway between 3 standard deviations and 3 standard deviations. Your 75th percentile is going to fall somewhere in here. That's your 75th percentile. Or your what? 3rd quartile. And then your max is going to be somewhere over here, and your min is going to be somewhere over here. The reason I show it on this curve is to show you, I take this away, I just show you these they're not necessarily lined up with these lines, but it's easy for you to see the quartiles if I show you the gas tank. You understand what a quarter of a tank is, what a half of a tank is, and what a 3/4 of a tank is. Now, back to the problem. We got to find these three. Well, the min is 16. So let's go ahead and write down the min of 16. Min is equal to 16. The max is equal to whatever 80. Now just for giggles, I'm going to find the median, because the median is usually your middle, your 50th percentile, your quartile, your second quartile, and that is these two numbers averaged together. So that's 54. Then what is the first quartile? How do you find the first quartile and the third quartile? Well, you take the median of the median. So where is this 54 right here? This 54 is between these two 54s right here, because you took the average of them, right? Because n is an even number. So you got to get the average. So that 54 is between these two 54s. So it is number 36, half of 36 is what, 18? So it's number 19 right here. So you got 18 above and 18 what? Below. So what I do is I take number 9 and 10 and I do what with those? Average them. So average those two together, you get what? 81, half of 81 is what? 40.5? Right? 40.5? Huh? 40 plus, I'm sorry. Yeah, 40 plus 42 is 82. Right? And half of 82 is 41. I'm sorry. So that's the first quartile. That's equal to 41. And then your third quartile is going to be equal to your bottom two. What's 70 plus 72? That's 142. Half of 142 is 71. So that would be 70.5. Which you could say 71. Now that's one way of finding the 5-number summary. And there are many teachers that teach that method. There's another method. And I'll show that to you in just a second. So how do you find the second quartile? You find the median, which is the middle two numbers. Since n is 36, it's even. Middle two numbers divided by what? 2. What if it was 37? What would you do? You just find the middle number. That's your second quartile. And then after you find your second quartile, you take the median on the upper end and the median on the what? Lower end, or higher end and lower end, whatever you want to call it. And that is your first quartile and your second quartile. Your third quartile. Any questions on finding it that way? Now, what if you want to find it the other way? Well, there's a formula called L is equal to Kn over 100. And that's how you find it another way. But you have to remember, if you do it this way, if you get a whole number, you use it. If you get a decimal, I don't care what decimal it is, any decimal. I didn't say 0.5, did I? I said any decimal. If you get any decimal, then you round up. Somewhere in your book, there is a flow chart that shows this. It's the only flow chart in this section. So if you have a book, find it. I think it's on like page 114 or something like that. Huh? Yeah. Check. That's an old book. Can you check yours if you don't mind? And see if it's 114. There it is. What page is it on? 116. Turn to page 116 and it'll show you the flow chart. Yes, ma'am.
Why would you add the 40 and 32 together if it's
Why would we do what?
and why do you add 40 and 32
Because the number, let me turn back to that. The number right here is in the middle. Okay? So how many numbers are above it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right here. Right here is your median, right there. Not the 54 and 54. Say again? It's between the 254. Yeah.
But it's
64.
not like you just choose them.
No. Yes, that's right. You always average these two. These two are not always going to be the same. So when you find the median or the average of these two numbers, you're finding it right in the middle of those two numbers. And you count up from that number.
So even if it's like a clear, like, you always average them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like a clear.
No, if it's 54 and 54, you know it's
No,
54.
I'm saying like you have like 21 numbers. You just find out.
Then you pick the middle.
The 11 numbers.
Yeah. The middle number, see, if it's even, you got to do averaging. If it's odd, you just pick the middle. So if you have 10 numbers, it was 36.
But you only had 35 numbers wrong. You got 36 numbers.
I thought there was 36, was there not?
I got 35.
Well, y'all should have mentioned that at the beginning instead of the end of the problem.
No, maybe we did. No, we did it. So maybe.
Huh?
The copy from the problem that
Yeah?
you, yours should be right.
Yeah, I thought so. Let me check. 36. Yeah, y'all are wrong. I'm just kidding. All right. Now, where was I? I can't remember where I was. Oh, LK. There we go. So, if I get a 4, or if I get a number like 4, then I count 4 places, and that's my percentile. If I get 4.1, then I round that up to 5, and then that is my percentile. Whatever the case may be. If you get a decimal, I don't care if it's 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.7, 4.8, you round up to 5. And that's what the flow chart says. All right? So let's take our numbers. Let's take our numbers. We got 36. So I want my 25th percentile. So I'm going to take 25 times 36 and divide by 100. So somebody crank that out and tell me what you get. Tell me the exact number you get. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a decimal or not. 9. So I count 9 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is my now, there is going to be a little bit of difference. It all depends on what your book presents. Your book is presenting the formula. So you should use the formula on your test and your homework. Well, then why did you show us the median? I've showed you the median to show you what you're actually finding. You're finding the 25th percentile, the 50th percentile, and the 75th percentile. And it's the median of the median of the median. In other words, the median of the median of the median. The three medians. That's what you're finding. This is the old way right here. This is the old way, and then they started coming up with this. So this is what you use. Most of the time, the numbers are going to fall within 1 or 0.5 of each other. But it's not that big of a deal. When you see me give you the chart, the box plot, you're going to see it's not going to make that much of a difference. But with your actual punching in the answer, you go with the formula. Yes, ma'am. Question? What's 40? That is, by this, the 25th percentile. Here is 41. There's going to be a little bit of a variation. On the homework and the test, use this because that's what the book is. There's other books that says this is the right way. It depends on the teacher and depends on the book. And I'm telling everybody right now, video for that one person that watches the video, go with the formula. Yes? The number, you count. You count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then we do that for the other ones, how we're doing
We're fixing to do that.
the.
Yeah, we're fixing to do that.
Okay.
If y'all give me time,
Okay.
thank you. Now, 50 times 36 over 100. Somebody crank that out for me. 18. So you count 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 54. So 54 is our 50th percentile. All right? 75 times 36 over 100. Crank that out. 27. So I'm going to go down to 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 69. And mine was, what did I have? I had 71, so mine's a little bit off there. Oh, didn't I raise up? I think I rounded up on that one. I'm not sure. Okay, 69. So 69 is our other quartile. Now, is it time to go? What time's class over? It's not over at 9:35.
That's what time your next class.
No. Next class starts at 9:45. It doesn't. Y'all better be telling me the truth. All right. Okay, well, okay, listen up. I got to take the roll. We will have, I will finish up this Tuesday. I'll show you how to do the box plot. And then we will look over the test and answer any homework questions you got. So that means that Tuesday, what will be posted? The test. That means Tuesday the homework will. Okay. Just want to let y'all know. All right. Let me call the roll and then y'all can skedaddle. I'm sorry.